Hello, my name is Julio Diaz. Welcome to Guitar Memories. Today, I have the pleasure to introduce you a DJ, radio DJ on KNAV Dallas, right? Uh, Art artist, some FX,
Special effects. Yep.
special effects, and a great guitarist, Lew Morris. Thank you, Lou, for being here,
Thank
for
you for having me.
accept this invitation for Guitar Memories.
Of course.
How are you?
Tired, but here. It's what it
Yeah,
is. It's
I
like
know.
the
I
long
know.
list of stuff obviously keeps me exhausted.
Yeah. Well, we have some troubles, but keep
It
going.
happens. It happens.
Yeah. Well, can you talk a little bit about yourself, please?
Okay. Yeah. Like we brought up with the list there, I do sound effects. I've been an FM DJ at KONs. I'll come there every once in a while, back again, supporting local music and stuff like that. Acting, do art, graphic design, pretty much anything entertainment-wise I've probably done at one point in time. I've worked for Walt Disney World. I've done professional pyrotechnics. I've been part of IOTC with the stage crew and all that. So, yeah, if it's entertainment, I've done it. And then I also do some online sales and marketing, which pays the bills, and that helps me so I can do the fun stuff. So it's one of those that hopefully one day the fun stuff will pay themselves and I can get rid of the serious stuff. But the real world's the real world, so gotta pay the bills so I have somewhere to sleep while I'm trying to come up with everything else.
Well, Lou, how you start with the guitar?
With the guitar itself.
Yeah.
Basically, I was taking piano lessons when I was 7, and didn't enjoy it that much. It was one of those, I liked the music part of it, but I didn't like the, mechanical part of it. It just felt like playing a machine versus actually playing something organic. And so it was one of those that my dad passed away when I was 13. I'd taken lessons for about 7 years-ish, somewhere around there at that point. And so I made a deal with my mom saying, hey, if you pay for my first guitar, I'll quit piano lessons. You don't have to pay for it anymore. And so for her, that was a good deal. So I was like, okay. So I went and paid $150 at Guitar Center and got me a Squire 2, which looks like this one, and basically quit piano lessons. I had a friend of mine that showed me tablature and how to tune a guitar, loaned me his before I got mine, and I just played around with it and then basically took it from there. Like, I never had any formal lessons or anything like that.
Oh wow, wow. Yeah, I want to ask you because you are an artist person because you are doing a lot of stuff about art, like you are an actor. You did, you just talk about your process on special effects, and well, it's a lot. How what is your inspiration on when you was young?
Like for art in general and stuff like that. Pretty much my environment. It was one of those things that because I went to a smaller school, we didn't have art class, we didn't have anything like that. So I liked to draw and everything. So it was kind of one of those. And from the start, I was always very much on the dark side of things. So I drew skulls and all this stuff. But sometimes I remember watching Voltron. I try to draw the little monsters from there and everything else. And you just kind of draw what's around you. And then obviously what the kids think are cool, you want to be able to draw that stuff so people look at it and go, oh, that's neat and stuff. And so I always have been creative. I've always wanted to create things. So even when I was playing, I didn't want to just learn how to play everybody else's stuff. I wanted to songwrite. And so a lot of the, even now when I do art, painting, graphic design, all that stuff, it just kind of comes from what my thoughts are and what does it symbolize and what does it mean. And I try to put meaning behind everything. All my songs, the lyrics are not just pointless lyrics. They all mean something. So it's the same thing. All the art has some kind of significance to it. When we did the Coilback album, the last one, The Balance of Duality, it's, talking about like how things sometimes have both sides, a light side and a dark side, and kind of going into the whole philosophy of all that. So basically, I just would always try to come from some creative outlet. And music was just a natural progression from that because I kind of think in music in general. I always got a tune in my head or try to come up with something. So basically from there, that went from, okay, I can do art and stuff like that, but I don't do it to the rules, so it's kind of hard to get a job somewhere doing that. But music, I can songwrite, and that seems to be a thing that isn't natural to everybody. So it feels very natural to me, more natural than trying to play somebody else's stuff. I know a few songs here and there because, people always like, oh, can you play this? Can you play this? But it's always weird to me with music that a lot of people judge the skill of a musician on how well they can play somebody else's stuff. Because they're like, oh, he's a good guitar player. He could play Sweet Child of Mine and, Inner Sandman and all that stuff. And I'm like, you don't go to a painter and go, how well can he paint a Monet? How well can he paint Da Vinci? It's like, you want to see what he can paint. So it's like, it's very weird with music. It's the other way around. They want to know how well you can do somebody else's stuff. But they don't really care that much about how well you can do your own stuff. And that's just bizarre to me.
Oh, wow. Well, before we start to talk about the guitars, can you talk a little bit about the equipment we will use on this episode, please?
Sure. All right. Well, we'll start with the big box in the room here. So this is a 100-watt EVH 5153 Stealth. It has a 6L6 tubes in it, which are the more American sound because I'm not as big on the Marshall sound. Don't hate it. It's just everybody uses it. So I'm not as big into the British tubes as the American tubes. I go 6L6 with everything. I used to have all the EVH amps, the original 5150, the 5152, the original 5153, all that. And once I got these Stealths, that was the sound for me. Yeah, I was like, nope, I like this. I'm selling all the rest of them. I don't need them. So this has 3 channels in it. It has not been modified in any way. I haven't hot rodded it out or anything. I think changed the tubes out. That's about it. The cab over here, it's a 4x12. Believe it or not, just a Behringer stock cab. I have another EVH Stealth and 4x12 cabinet over there that has Mojotone Greyhounds. That's for the Lovesick Drug Band. This is more of a Coilback rig. So basically on this, I originally bought it to change out the speakers. But I got it and found out that, number one, a lot of the original Behringers came with Jensen speakers, which are decent speakers. And got it and it sounded amazing. So I'm just like, why would I mess with something that's already working? I don't need to, because I'll probably put something in it and make it sound worse. So it's like, so that's just stock Behringer, but it is an older Behringer cab. If somebody tries to go get one now, they put their Chinese speakers in them. They don't sound quite as good. But if you can find an older one for cheap, they actually sound good. They got a good bass response on them and everything else. And especially with something like this, because this thing can really rock the bass sound to it. It's got a good low end on it. You need something that can do it or it'll just break up. And same reason why I use the 100 watts is I like the overhead. I don't like too much amp breakup. I do all my breakup through my pedals and everything and pushing it, but I don't like the actual amp breakup itself. Because to me, it just sounds nastier. Where if I can break it up through the pedals and everything, it's a little more controlled, a little more clean, and I can kind of hot rod it out more. Pedal board wise, this is my Coilback pedal board with Lovesick Drug. I have a Boss GX100 and a John Petrucci wah that I can show you guys later, but I'm not hooking it up because it's one of those. This is a little more simplified. I keep this simplified because I do lead vocals and rhythm guitar with Coilback. So it's one of those that with this thing, it makes it so I don't have to do the pedal dance the whole time. I let Fernando, with his big pedal board, take care of that. He can do the pedal dance because he's a lead guitar player. Walking down the line from start to finish here, I got a Korg Pitch Black. It's a tuner. It's easy to see. I know a lot of people like the Boss one, but to me, as long as it gives me the tuning, I don't care. And so this one's easy to see on stage. I like it. Coming up next is the Moore Pitch Box. That is a harmony pedal. I used to use a Boss Harmonist. If you ever listen to like Hate Me on the original Love Is Dead album, the intro, that's a Boss harmony going on that. But the problem was I just used one setting, just the harmony setting. I didn't use everything else. That's a huge pedal and a lot of money for something that I just need one little trick to do. This is a $60 pedal, does the same trick, so works for me. Next to it is a compressor. I don't even remember what brand it is. It's like iSet or something like that. It's a very cheap compressor, but weirdly enough, it has the same circuit board as some Nux ones when I checked it out. You can literally get these on Temu for like $30. I use a compressor more for live stuff because I found that with live stuff, you'll get lost. Some things will get lost in the mix with the dynamics. So I prefer the compressor for that. I don't use them as much in the studio so I can keep those dynamics because in the studio we have more control. But live, I found, as much as some people want to complain about compressors, they just help live to keep everything tight. Next to that one, which is my newest addition, is a Soldano SLO Super Lead Overdrive pedal. The EVH is actually built off the SLO. That was the original design they tried to copy. Is a lot of people call the original 5150 a poor man's SLO. And because the original ones, the equivalent of this is like $4,500 in a Soldano, and I'm like, it's a little out of my price range. And so it's one of those that it plays well with this because since they were kind of off the same origin, and it gives me an extra channel. So I will run it through my clean channel, which is what I'm doing today for any distorted stuff. And it gives me a little more control over it. So that way I just have an extra option over the other channels. Mm-hmm. Being that I'm having to do a lot of the lead vocals and stuff for Coilback, the tone is everything when it comes to the guitar because I'm not doing as much on the guitar for Coilback as I would be for like Lovesick Drug, where I'm just focused on guitar and a few backing vocals. Next to that, ISP Decimator. I'm using a high gain amp. I got hot pickups. You pretty much have to have one. I found those are easier because it's one dial. It's a very smart system versus a Boss noise gate where you have to really tweak it yourself. I get that dialed in. It does the trick. So, and then last one on there is the MXR analog chorus. We use that for clean stuff. We have a lot of songs that are very similar to like Metallica type ballad stuff like Fade to Black. So when the clean stuff happens, you don't want to drop too much in the sound. You don't want it to sound too thin, especially live. So I found the chorus kind of fattens it up a little bit. And then, it's one of those things that when it kicks in, when everything kicks in heavy, I just turn it off and then go. But it keeps it so the clean stuff doesn't drop so much. Past that, Boss volume pedal, just because, once again, it's easier to do that than having to change my knobs all the time, especially if I've got it dialed back a little bit to clean it up. I don't want to have to keep doing that. Switcher for the amp here, because the amp's got 3 channels. That's got 3 channels and some effects. And that's pretty much the rig that I'm using today. So.
Oh, nice. It's really nice. Well, you're an analog guitarist, right?
Yeah. I prefer analog. Once again, I use the whole rig as an instrument. So I'll come up to the speakers and kind of go for feedback and all that stuff and everything, especially when we're doing stuff live. So you can't really do that digital as well. And I see a place for digital. I like digital stuff. And if you're flying around or something, I totally get. We talked about Nita Strauss. It's like she travels with a GT1000. And it's one of those that I see the point. Whenever you're flying around, you don't have to cart all this crap around. But if I've got my choice, I'm going to play through analog stuff. I've owned digital boards. They're okay. Before I got my 5150s, I had some digital stuff, but as soon as I got it, I was like, well, that's the channel I use on my digital. I've got the real thing. Why do, it's like, why am I going to go play a flight simulator if I own an F-16, So it's one of those, I see the place for them. I'm not against using them, but if I've got my way, it's always going to be analog because I just have more control over everything. And it's not the simulation of something. It's the real thing sitting in front of you. So, but like I said, I'm not against it. I totally understand there's a place for digital, and I'm all for it. And I may one day buy a Fractal or a Kemper, but it's one of those. Right now, this works for me. So.
Nice. Well, right now we have that amazing guitar. Can you talk about this guitar, please?
Okay. Well, as I said, I talked my mom into buying my first guitar. So the original one of those, I sold to a friend of mine who's no longer a friend. No idea where that's gone. That was years ago. But this is the same exact model, year, everything. So it would look exactly like this, except I've hot rodded this out. So this is a 1989 Fender Squier 2. And turns out, I didn't know it at the time, but when I went to research them again when I was looking for it, because I probably bought this 10 years ago, the necks are highly sought after. So it's one of those, a lot of Fender guys love these. They're made at the Samick factory when they made them at the time. And a lot of people love the neck profile. So people will literally buy these Squier 2 necks and put them on a legit Fender because they prefer it. And so I've hot rodded this one out. It was originally a pearl white. It's faded to the Fender blonde that a lot of them have done over the years, which I'm not against. And this one, I sanded down the neck, got rid of all the polyurethane, so it's gunstock oil and wax, just like Music Man does there. Just glide across it. It's got locking tuners on it, little custom plate there. And then I just changed out all the knobs and everything. Pickup-wise, this is a Dragonfire Screamer, which is considered a budget one. It's a ceramic high-gain pickup, but they sound great. You go online, see anybody that's put them in. They sound amazing. They're only like $60 or something like that. Over here, I've got a California Guitar Alnico 2, and over here is a Neodymium because I wanted drastically different sounds so I can just blend it in, because this is kind of a studio workhorse. So I've recorded some Coilback songs like Waited Too Long, Into the Woods, all that stuff, where I've needed some good clean sounds and stuff. This does the trick for that, and I've got so many options on there that I can kind of blend different sounds versus just kind of shades of the same thing where a lot of people want to match everything, which I get when you need to balance it. And then, yeah, got roller trees, all that stuff, but the whole thing was done on a budget. Nothing is like super expensive or name brand, but I'd put it up against any Ibanez or anything. It plays great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Can we listen the guitar, please?
Sure. Let's see here. Start with some clean stuff here. Like, that's the Alnico 2, or the neodymium. Put a little chorus on it. But when you go to that, so yeah, it's got a good tone to it, just, for like some little cheap pickups in there.
Sounds really, really nice guitar. Well, when you start to learning guitar, how was your process? Because you have some idea how it's the music working, right? Because you had piano lessons. Yeah. How was the evolution?
Well, I mean, kind of like I mentioned earlier, it was like piano was good and it taught me a lot of theory and everything else, but it definitely felt like homework. It was one of those that, we would take every year, we'd go do a competition, but like some of it was just a written test, literally like, what's this key signature? What is this? And that's not fun as an artist. That'd be like going, oh, I want to paint, but okay, what does this brush do? What is this? But you're not painting anything. So it's one of those that you had that, and then, you do your competitions and everything else, but the piano always just felt like a machine to me. It doesn't feel like you're really connected to the instrument, because you're literally just pushing a button and then it's making all the sound in there. Where here, you're directly in contact with what's making the sound. So the way, like on a guitar, the way you touch it, the way that your fingers are, the way you hit the pick, all makes a difference in the sound. Where there's only so many ways you can hit a key on a piano. There just is. And so it gave me a good backing knowledge-wise of how music works, but it wasn't enjoyable as an artist. Yeah. It just felt more like I'm performing stuff, where when I got to the guitar, and, as I said earlier, I kind of talked my mom out of it, out of getting me on a piano so I could do that. When I got to read tablature and stuff, it kind of made sense to me, because once again, you just have, as long as you can count, you know where the notes are. And I understood like how rhythm patterns work and everything from learning piano. So that gave me a little bit of an advantage there. But really, it was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to get to learn the songs I want to learn. I mean, perfect example, when I was playing piano, the La Bamba movie came out. I don't know if you remember that. And so everybody else was playing Beethoven stuff, and I was like, I want to play stuff like that. And so I found it in a magazine that she had in her waiting room. I'm like, is there any way I can learn this? And she goes, well, yeah, I'd rather you learn something you want to learn. So I went and learned that on piano instead. And it was just like, okay, so I took that to guitar too. I'm like, okay, well, here's this Metallica song. I want to learn, Sanitarium. I don't want to learn, Three Blind Mice. So I'm going in there looking at that, but that's where it helped, is having the music and being able to watch it on the tab going, okay, I see how that works. I see how that works. And so I learned my technique and stuff from there. And my influence probably is a very good blend of Van Halen and Hetfield. Not nearly as good as either one of them, but like I can downpick real fast like Hetfield does, just because of the fact that, I was trying to learn to play it right. And like Eddie, I try to just not worry about the rules a lot of times. It's just like, if it sounds good, it sounds good. Yeah. Like my favorite quote of his is, it's not music fact, it's music theory. So I don't necessarily worry if that's what it's supposed to be. If it sounds good, cool. But yeah.
I have the quote for your episode right now.
Oh yeah.
Because all the episodes start with a quote about a guitar hero or a really great guitarist. And you just said that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah. Nah, that's one of my favorite quotes by him. It's just one of those things that it's all about music's about what it sounds good. It doesn't have to be scientific. It just needs to sound good. So, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much. It's just I've just taught myself over the years. If there's something I hear that I think is kind of cool, I'll look into how they did it. You know, it's like, what do you do to make that weird noise or whatever, and I'll go look into how to do it. Sometimes I pull it off. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, it's not worth the trouble. So.
Okay, Lou. Can we switch the guitar
Sure,
right now?
Sure.
Well, Lou, I'm shocked right now because that guitar means a lot for me. I have memories when Gibson launched this guitar, and I remember I was on the college looking guitars and something, and I saw this guitar and I was shocked. And, if one day I had a Les Paul, I will buy this one. And well, I guess just 3 years for production.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 years. Is it?
Yeah, and when you text me, I have a Les Paul Menace. What? Yeah. Whoa. Okay. I really am shocked. I excited to talk about this guitar.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's go through it. Okay. So as he said, it's Les Paul Menace. They only put 2 Menace models out. They put a Les Paul and an SG. That was all that ever existed. And like you said, about 2 or 3 years, maybe 2.5 years is all they produced them. People hated them when they came out because Les Paul people tend to be very traditional. And so they want their regular arch top and all this stuff and everything. So they don't like it when you mess with the formula too much. I do, because I like stuff that looks different. So it's one of those that the big thing about the Les Paul Menace, it's the equivalent of a Les Paul Studio. So it is chambered. It's a little lighter. It's not heavy like the traditional. It's not solid. It does have these little grooves here, grooves on the side. Now I have changed out these. It normally has the regular plastic ones. I like these because it kind of matches the copper in there. Yeah. And I changed the poker chip here from rhythm and treble to punch and stab just because I felt like it went with the vibe. They have a fret marker on here. It's a fist on the Les Paul. It's brass knuckles on the SG. And this is one of the only times Gibson didn't put their normal logo. They put a tattoo style logo on the back. They were trying to market it to metal people and industrial people is what they were going for. And the general public did not like it. And I actually saw it for the first time on a video on the internet on YouTube that was about ugly Les Pauls. But I saw it and I was like, that's not ugly. I like that guitar. So I went and hunted for one. And I'm not big on the whole, Gibson Les Pauls are the most amazing guitars ever. They're good. And I think they have their own sound. And I think every guitar player should have some type of Les Paul in their arsenal because they do have a great sound to them. But are they end-all be-all guitars? Yeah. So these don't have pro buckers. It's a 490T and a 498 pickup in there. They're the smoky coils is what they're calling them with the clear tops like that. And so the pickups in it are great. I felt no need to change them out or anything like that. It's got a good sound to it. This is one of my main songwriting guitars. It usually stays at home with me. So it's one of those, I've used it on stage for stuff, but it's also, because it's so easy to tune in different tunings, I don't have to set up something like a Floyd Rose. If I need to write something for Lovesick Drug or Coilback or whatever, I could just go to this and get my main stuff hashed out. Yeah. And so, no, it plays really smooth. It's just one of those, past that, it's a normal Les Paul. It's just, they just made it look a little funkier. I'm still looking for an SG that I can afford. I got this one. I got a deal on this one, way cheaper than like I should have. But the guy was desperate to sell it, so came with the case candy, all that stuff. So it's still a collectible Les Paul. But no, it's one of those. It's a keeper. It's like same thing. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's the Les Paul I'm getting, and just hunted, and it probably took me 2 years to find this one on eBay that the guy was just desperate enough to sell it cheap. And I've kept an eye out for an SG, but they're up there now. Even these are like going used, I think $2,500 or something like that now. And so if I can get an SG, I'd love to have the pair, but the Les Paul is obviously the superior one of the two. So but yeah, that's pretty much it on that one.
Yeah. Well, this podcast, the idea started when I was on Guitar Center with my brother, watching guitars, trying guitars. But all the fucking guitar centers had the same guitars.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's go for another guitar center. Oh, it's the same.
Same ones. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, but we are on the rock and roll country.
Yeah.
What kind of guitars the people have? And I start to, okay, but the story behind the guitars, how the instruments connect with the guitarist, right? Because I have my own stories with my guitars, right? And I saw different kind of guitars, but this is the first guitar I connect because I have a story with that guitar, and I really appreciate you bring this guitar right now.
Well, I remember we were talking about different ones because I've got so many. At one point I had 40 something. I think I'm down to 30 or so, but it's one of those that they all have their purpose. But yeah, we were going over it and I'm like, I got this, and I remember immediately like, bring that one. I was like, okay, not a problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of my main guitars. It's a good playing guitar. It really is. It's a nice guitar.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right. As an off switch. So. I don't use the neck pickup as much just because of the fact that the bridge pickup's just so good. So every once in a while if I need it, I'll use it. But yeah, I kind of use it as kind of like a lot of people as a kill switch.
Yeah, it's really
it's just a good
guitar.
thick sound to it.
And sounds like you saw the guitar because I remember when I see. When I saw the photos, it's different. It's different, and I involved on metal and hard rock.
Yeah.
And that point of my life, and okay, I don't like a lot Les Pauls.
Yep.
But that will be.
See, that was me. I was just like, they're cool, but it's just so common.
Yeah.
And it's just nothing special about 90% of them.
Yeah. Well, with respect, the people are so traditional. Gold top or sunburst or
pretty
like
much.
That.
If it isn't your standard ones that the big famous people use,
the custom is white or black or but that's the reason I prefer another kind of guitars like Jackson or PRS or something like that, like Fender Stratocaster, the green.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Like the surf green sort of color to it. Yeah.
I need my identity with my guitars. Yeah. Right. But I start to growing up, be more serious, and start to enjoy the story about the colors or the personality the guitars have. Yeah. Right? And start to enjoy the regular Stratocaster. Well, I dream with a Stratocaster Aerodyne.
Okay. Yeah, I remember those.
Their kind of guitars are from Japan.
Yep.
It's like your Squire.
Yep.
No, and don't have
the pick guard and all that stuff on it. Yeah.
And the pickups are black, and the guitar is white, and that's my guitar.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I get it. And I mean, and that's the thing, too, because I used to actually work at the Guitar Center in Plano. I was the first guitar manager there when they opened. And so I had a lot of chance to play with a lot of different stuff. And same thing. It's just there's so many of them that are just like, it's the same reason I don't use Marshall that much, because it's just like, it's a good sound. It's just everybody uses that sound. And so you want to kind of stand out a little bit, and it doesn't really feel personal then.
Yeah.
Because same reason I love Van Halen, but they're like, are you ever going to get a Frankenstein? I'm like, no, because that's kind of his guitar. Yeah. So I don't want to look like I'm trying to be Eddie, because I know I can't. Nobody can, really. But it's like, but I don't want to be the wannabe guy. I want to kind of have my own sound. I get why it's good, but it's one of those, I want it to be my own thing. And yeah, you don't see hardly anybody playing these things. And so yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's the Les Paul I'm getting. Yeah. So it took a while for the hunt, but yeah, when I finally got one, they're really cool. I love them. Yeah. Highly recommend.
Well, Lew, do you remember when you feel ready to, okay, my skills on the guitar, it's enough good to join on a band? Can you talk about that?
Still not there yet, but
I've
managed to fake it this long. But now I remember Andy Timmons. I saw his guitar clinic. He was the first guitar clinic I saw because he's local to here. And so I was probably like 15, 16, something like that. So 15. And he was doing a guitar clinic at Guitar Center. I've never been to a guitar clinic, so I'm like, oh, I'll check it out. And I'm watching him play, and I'm like, that's how good I got to play to be able to... I got a long way to go. And fast forward a few years ago, I saw him at Guitar Sanctuary. He's playing with Eric Gales. And I had just happened to find my picture of him that he signed in 91, so I thought it'd be funny to come up and tell him. And I was like, hey, you want to see something funny? And I showed it to him, and he goes, holy crap. He's like, yeah. He goes, and he said, yeah, that's from like 91. And I was like, yeah. I said, I remember seeing you back then going, man, I don't know how I'm going to get that good to be able to start playing professionally. And I said, and here I am today saying, man, I don't know how I'm going to get that good. And he just laughed. He goes, you just got to practice. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's more than that to get your level. Because Andy is an amazing guitar player. I've managed to become friends with him, and actually have his phone number in my phone. We've played a show with him and everything else. Great dude. And but yeah, you always get that imposter syndrome, as they call it, where you want to think you're good, but you're always like, am I though? You know, am I kind of crap? And I'm just managing to fool everybody and all that. So I never really felt like I was great. I still don't ever feel like I'm great, but it's one of those things that when I started into bands, my first band, I was in high school. I was playing blues with some guys, so I mainly did keyboard. I got it kind of on rhythm, so I could just do your basic blues progressions or something like that. No soloing, no nothing like that. But I was constantly working to try to get better at writing, because I knew I was like, I'm not going to be Eddie. I don't have it in me. It's not that I don't think I have the talent, I just don't have the drive. I want to be a songwriter. I want to be able to be known for writing good songs, not, oh, I was great at doing a guitar solo. And so that was my main drive. So once I started writing better songs, I tried to join an original band and just came in as a singer and went, okay, look, I've got a few riffs here if you want to hear them and everything else, but if you've got something, I can write lyrics to it and all that stuff. The problem was the two guitar players in that band kind of sucked. And so I'm sitting here going, well, I can play better than those guys at least. And it was frustrating because you wanted better songs. You wanted to be able to go, oh, can you do this part like this or whatever? But I couldn't get them to do it because they just couldn't do it. And so when that band fell apart, that's what became Coilback, is I went, okay, this guy wants to stick with me, but he's not good on guitar, so we're going to move him on bass. I will go ahead and take the guitar duties because I might not be amazing, but I can play better than he can and more complex stuff than he can. And it's not an insult to him. It's just, that's just where he was. And so I was like, I can at least write what's in my head now. And so I took it from there. And then we eventually added a lead guitar player because I'm like, well, it'd be more interesting if I could add some arrangement and layers to it. So then we added a lead guitar player, and then I found, okay, I'm decent at rhythm, but then we would want to do some stuff together where we're playing some lead stuff together and stuff, and that's when I kind of started getting more into the lead stuff again. But Yeah, I mean, it was one of those, I think, when I felt like I could play a solid song that sounded good in my head, I guess, where I didn't feel like I wish I could play this track or I wish I could play this line, but I'm not good enough to play that line. These days, that's why I got my lead guitar player. I'm like, I'm not going to play that line. You play that line. And then I'll play this other bit here. And I'm able to hold my own. I would not, by any stretch of the imagination, call myself like, amazing lead guitar player. But I can BS enough to make it sound like I can do a lot. But it's one of those that ultimately it's all about, to me, writing good riffs, writing good songs, having good dynamics, and being able to know enough there to basically be able to play what's in my head. Yeah. If I can achieve that, then I think it's good enough. But yeah, past that, I'm still working on being a good guitar player.
Okay. Can we switch right now?
Sure.
The guitar?
Sure.
Okay, Lou. What guitar is that?
This is an interesting one. I call it my rescue guitar. I rescued it as a feral. I found it on Craigslist for $40, and it was beat to crap. This is a Dean Z autograph, and I've had debates with the Dean forum about this guitar. They claim it doesn't exist, and here it is. And so Brian Bridger, who you interviewed, he said he used to have one of these too, so he's the only other person I know that even knows what this is. So this was 85, I want to believe this one is. And so when they originally came out, Dean, which is the Dean guitar company everybody knows, they decided they were going to try to do imports, because up to that point, all their guitars were U.S. made. And so they created Dean Z, which was kind of like their Squire. Like Fender has Squire, they were going to do Dean Z, because Dean Zielinski is the guy. And that was going to be his import line. Because now the Z is an Explorer-type guitar. If you hear a Dean Z, it's an Explorer. But the brand Dean Z is different. This one's an autograph. The autographs, there's an autograph, a signature, and something else. And I think it had more to do with the pick guard. The autograph had the chrome pick guard and stuff. So this is real chrome, not plastic. So it's metal. So this guitar was a disaster when I got it. It came with an AccuTune tuner, which was a rip-off, really crap Chinese version of a Kahler. And they all broke in the same place because it had a weak spot. So it was broke. The guy literally had bolted 2 bolts to the back, which is what this sticker's covering up here, that was sticking out the back to keep the springs in. The pickups were all loose. The chrome thing was all scratched and everything else. And so I decided, I was like, for $40, I could throw some crap in this and just see. And I found out that they did make a plate that you could convert this to a real Kahler. So I went and found a 1985 Kahler because I wanted it to be period correct. And so this is a Kahler Flyer that's been converted into it. I also went and buffed the whole chrome thing, which I really need to do better, but buffed all that out. The pickups in it were really microphonic, and the chrome pickguard did not help. So the minute I plugged it into my amp, it was just screaming. And I'm like, well, that's not usable. So I took all the original pickups out. This is a Dean Baker Act pickup, which is similar to a JB, but it's Dean's version, because once again, I want to try to keep it as Dean as possible. These two are California guitars, same thing as I did in my Squire. I did an Alnico and a Neodymium. Dean didn't make any single coil guitars that would work for this, so I'm like, okay, I can't make it all Dean, but that's a Baker Act. And then, the same thing as the Squire there. They make the fretboard out of Richlite, which is basically like epoxy sawdust almost, but it's more durable, which actually Gibson now has gone to. A lot of the new Gibsons are Richlite fretboards now. And so that's why it's just white. It's instead of any kind of wood grain. And then but stock tuners on it, everything else is stock on it. But yeah, and then I put that little sticker on there just to do it because it reminded me a little bit of the old Ibanez Gem Universe 7-string that Steve I had with the chrome. And he has a little pyramid, so I found that. I was like, it'll be it's the same thing here. But yeah, it went from a piece of garbage that would probably be tossed into a trash can to an actual usable guitar now. And it's fun. It's fun to play. It's a fast guitar. It's the only Kahler guitar I have on there. But like I said, I kind of like having a little bit of everything. So I mostly use Floyd Rose. My lead guitar player hates Kahler, so he won't touch this guitar. But it's one of those that I dig it. You just have to play them slightly different. You can't palm mute a Kahler as easily. You'll just kill it. It'll just die.
Yeah.
So,
I'm turning when you're palm muting.
Yeah, when you're palm muting, if you try to palm mute a Kahler like you do Floyd Rose, you'll get no sound.
All of tune, and you try to match how do you say in English? Octavación.
Um,
When tune the 0 with 12.
oh, intonation.
Intonation?
Yeah,
Okay.
trying to intonate it. Yep.
Try and you
Oh, Floyd Rose.
everything
hard
is
to intonate.
no, but it's the Floyd. It's the Floyd when you put your hand.
Oh yeah, if you push down on it, yeah,
Yeah.
it screws up your intonation all to hell. Yeah, the Kaler's even worse. So, so you have to be very light with the Kaler. You can't palm mute too hard on a Kaler because it'll just kill it. The strings will go dead. That's what he hates. So
Okay.
it doesn't bother me that much.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see here. Let's try something clean on this first, just to do it.
Nice.
So that's the
Really
Baker Act doing all that work. So.
Really cool. Well, you do all the modifications on your guitars, or are you looking for somebody else?
Way back, I did all of them myself. It was one of those things like I soldered all these pickups in and everything else. I did get somebody to help me with this conversion because I wasn't sure exactly the distance I needed to be and everything else. So I had a guy help me with the conversion here. That one I did completely myself, the Squire. That one was all myself. And pickup wise, like electronic wise, I know pretty well. So I can do the electronic work.
Yeah.
I don't trust myself to do frets and truss rod adjustments because I'm so scared about screwing up the neck. So I have a bad habit of just like adjusting too much, and then the next thing it goes like, oh, you snapped the truss rod. There goes that neck. So anything that I always say deals with wood or the frets and all that stuff, I got a guy, Kevin Easton, that does a lot of my work, and he's amazing. He used to work for Jackson and all that stuff back when they were here. And so, yeah, it's one of those that any of that stuff, I feel like if I want it to be its best, I trust somebody else to do that. The electronics, when it comes to soldering, setting all that up, I can do that. That's so it's kind of half and half. I've even taught my other guitar players how to do all that stuff because they'd see me doing it. I'm like, it's not that hard. So it's like, but yeah, all the setups and stuff like that. Like if it's a Floyd setup or anything, I'll let somebody else do it. If it's one of those, it's my main guitars. If it's something I'm just messing around with, I can set it up. But I want it to play its best if I'm trying to use it for studio or live or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one was kind of a 50-50. I did the electronics and then he set that up for me there, and I think that's it. I think that's all he did was help me with that bridge part. So.
Okay, Lou, because you are an artist for all the world, yeah. You are the leader on Coilback and Love Sick Drug.
Love Sick Drug, yeah. Me and Billy kind of run that one together. Coilback, I'm kind of the main guy running it. So
yeah. How you mix this part of music, the art of music, and this part, the artistic music, the concept, to mix.
Like the general sound, or you would like?
Yeah, how you create that ideas to fit, because I mean, some bands are music and art, right? No, it's not like AC/DC or Metallica. They have a really good performance, but it's the band, right?
Yeah.
But if you saw Ghost, it's a music and art.
Oh, production.
Or,
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Or Slipknot. Slipknot,
Mhm.
it's a huge band, but they have some artistic concept,
I
right?
got you. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I saw your projects,
Mm-hmm.
and oh, a lot art on it's involved on all the projects.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like, oops, drop a bit. I'll start with Coilback because that's the older band of the two. So Coilback, when I started, the big part about the name especially was I wanted something that we weren't pigeonholed into something. Like Metallica, if they're not playing metal, you're like, what are you doing? Because it's in the name. You know, something like Slipknot is not going to be a country band. So it's one of those that I wanted a name where we could write anything we wanted to. Because I remember when I heard about how they came up with Aerosmith, it was like that was the thing. Is like Aerosmith can be anything it wants to be, and I was like, I like that. I don't want to be stuck going, oh, you don't have the right sound for that. So when we came up with that, because my listening, what I listened to, like I said, you know, old country and metal and all this stuff. I even listen to a lot of rap and everything. So I have a wide range of influence writing wise, and I didn't want to get stuck going, oh, I have to write this sound all the time.
Yeah.
So Coilback definitely has a broad range. We're anything from like something like the song Stalemate that is thrash metal to something like Loaded Bullet that sounds like 70s rock.
Yeah.
And so, but it all sounds like us. And so with Coilback, it was more about, okay, I want the music to stand out, but we've got to have a look to kind of keep it all uniform. So initially, we were kind of more almost gothed out a little bit. I came up there in leather pants and fishnet shirts, and we had skulls, and I built skeleton mic stands and all this stuff. And a lot of it was a gimmick, just like Kiss, because we knew it was hard to keep people there, especially for live shows. So one of the big things we did was I built those skeleton microphone stands, and the first thing we loaded on stage when we loaded on stage was those. Because everybody would go, oh, what is that? And they'd walk up and see it, and then we'd bring other stuff out there. Ooh, what is that? And by the time they're sitting there fascinated looking at it, we're ready to play now. So they're like, oh, I guess we'll just stick around and see what they sound like. Where if you're playing a normal club and you just kind of walk out with your normal gear, they're like, we're going to have drinks. We're going to leave. So anything to try to keep them there.
Yeah.
And, you know, people want to see a performance. That's one of the things we joke about a lot is people come that look like they just came from their barbecue. You know, like they're flip-flops and shorts and everything, and they get up on stage and you're like, okay, did you really want to be here? You know, and so many people come up there and play and they just don't look like they really want to be there. They just kind of look like it's an afterthought. And I don't remember which country musician, but there was one way back in the day that there should be no doubt from the audience when everybody's standing there who's in a band. You should have a look that says, I'm in a band. Not, I just came from shopping and now here I'm going to go get on a stage.
Yeah.
But people have gotten just kind of phoning it in on a lot of stuff where they just show up in the shorts and just some tennis shoes and a t-shirt and they think that's enough. And it doesn't feel special to the crowd either. It's just like, okay, you know. And I remember Pantera kind of started a lot of that, you know, but they were trying to do it to go against everybody wearing the spandex and all the 80s stuff because they're just like, why? But then it just turned into, oh, well, we could just wear it like that now. So now that's the normal thing. And everybody just, that's what everybody wears normally now. So there's no production involved. And that's going into Lovesick Drug. It was the same thing. Billy grew up on Motley Crue and Kiss and all that stuff, which is why he wanted like the LSD sign that's in the background there and everything else. So, but he saw that I also had that kind of eye for it production wise. So he was like, yeah, we need to do this and this and this. And so he's all about making the show something special that you get there and you see stuff. And that was what was so weird is we would play a show and we're still, you know, focused on the music. That's still number one. It's not like, oh, we got to look cool. Screw if it sounds good. And for some reason, people are like, oh, they're gimmicky. And it's like, we're gimmicky because we're actually trying to make a production versus we didn't just walk up in our jeans. And it was just weird because people just really think now if you try to actually put a production on, somehow that's a gimmick. And it's like, it is to a point, but that's not our main focus. That's not, because like Slipknot, obviously that was a gimmick to start. We're all going to wear masks and overalls and just go by numbers. But if the music didn't stand up, they wouldn't last still. At a certain point, the music has to stand on its own. So we do put productions into it. And if it's a special show or something like that, we'll put a little more into it. Like every year we try to do something special. One year we played Trees, Lovesick Drug, and we had Aaron dropping down from the rafters in big angel wings and stuff to start the show and everything. So we try to put something on where people go see the show going, wow, that was an experience. Not just, they played cool songs, and that's it.
Yeah.
You want something memorable where everybody goes, I wish I would have went. So then they'll actually come out to the shows. But if it's always just, I'm coming up in T-shirts and playing my songs, it doesn't feel like you're anything special. It just feels like, all right, cool. I got some guys I know playing some music, but yeah.
Yeah, and right now, the people are not really focused on the different kind of projects, right? If you don't catch them for really quick, it's okay. Yeah. Huh?
Oh yeah, attention spans are so short.
Like 10 seconds and the video. Guys playing guitar.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, there's so many videos. They're just performing.
Yeah,
that's it.
Because right now we have a lot of connection for all the world.
Oh yeah.
By YouTube or Spotify or.
We always said it's a blessing and a curse because it leveled the playing field where you can now get your music out there. Where before you had to go get a record contract and all that stuff to try to get out there. Now everybody can put something out, but that is the problem. Everybody can put something out, so there's a lot of crap. And yeah, it takes more to stand out than it used to. You got to do something different. You can't just do the same thing everybody's doing with the same sound everybody's doing. It's otherwise nobody cares. It's short attention span. You don't grab them, that's it. They just don't care. They're moving on.
It's really really interesting in the art. Your bands, the art, the concept, the music. It's really interesting.
We try to make it, like I said, where everything kind of has some meaning to it. It's like, all the art. Because, we want it to look cool. Obviously, they're not going to wear the T-shirts and they're not going to do all this stuff if you don't do something that looks cool. But at the same time, it just needs to feel like there's something special about that. Like, it's not just the same design everybody's using and not the same thing. And definitely not doing the death metal thing where you can't even read the name. It's like, I've argued with death metal guys about that. And I don't mind death metal, but it's one of those that... Dude, it's your brand. It's like if nobody can read it, you're kind of making your job harder. So, but it's one of those things that branding's important. I mean, it's even internet models have to brand themselves these days. It's like, how is everybody going to know it's you? And so you have to do it, and you need to have a look. You need to have a kind of a... We try to theme it, like Coilback, we try to theme it based on the album. So it's one of those things that right now, the Balanced Duality is a lot of angel demon stuff. But the next one's probably going to be a little more horror related, so we're going to make it look more classic horror, so then everything will kind of move that direction. So kind of keep it new and fresh, but it's always going to have that same sort of, it's us. That's the big thing about it to me.
Yeah. Thank you, Lou. Well, can we switch the guitar right now? Okay, Lou. What kind of guitar is that?
Okay, this one's kind of a special one to me. Anybody that knows Nita Strauss, she used to play with Iron Maidens. Now she plays with Alice Cooper. She did some stuff with Demi Lovato. Amazing solo stuff. I don't want to say we're best buds, but she knows me. I know her. We're friends in the business, so to speak. And so I've supported her live stuff from early on, or her solo stuff, not live stuff, solo stuff from early on. And I think she's an amazing player, but also an amazing person. She's got a really great attitude, real positive attitude. Josh, her husband, real cool dude. Love him to death. And so I had heard her playing this. This is a Ibanez Jiva 10. This is her first signature guitar. This is deep space blonde color, as they call it. And she kind of based it on her general look because she's blonde and everything else. So, she always joked around as like, how'd you come up with the color? And she just puts it up to her face. She's like, So I had seen that the guitar could do a lot. And Coilback, because we have so many different sounds, I needed something that could do anything I threw at it. Because my Music Mans and all that stuff are great, but they can't do clean very well. And the Les Paul's good, but it didn't have a Floyd Rose on it and stuff like that. So I needed a utility guitar that could just, whatever I tossed at it, it would work. And the stuff I was hearing her playing, her tone's amazing. Obviously, her technique's incredible and stuff. So I was like, maybe that one. And then I found out she was doing a guitar clinic, a guitar sanctuary. And I asked them, I was like, would you guys sell the guitar that she plays? And they go, oh, yeah, totally. So I was like, I wouldn't mind buying that. And I said, could I pay for it in advance to make sure nobody else gets it first? And they're like, oh, totally, yeah. If you pay for it now, she'll hand it to you whenever she's done with it. I was like, perfect. Went ahead and sent in the money for it and everything else. Went to the guitar clinic. She played on this exact guitar the whole time. And then she signed the back for me and handed it over to me. So Nita's had her hands on this one exact guitar. And it's been my number one guitar for Coilback ever since. It literally can do anything it's thrown at. The 2 pickups in it are her signature pickups. They're called Pandemoniums. So they clean up if you need them to clean up. They can get heavy if you need them to get heavy. They're just excellent. The middle is a DiMarzio True Velvet because she felt like, she goes, that's what I use, and I don't see the point in making a signature single coil because it would just sound like that. So I believe that she said at the time she tried to make her pickup sound a combo between an Evo and a deactivator with DiMarzio. So she said she was kind of picky because she wanted a real high gain and a real clean pickup that combined them somehow. But she pulled it off, and then it's got the cool inlay where it's got the little heartbeat thing here, and she always kind of joked about, like, the higher up you go on the fretboard, the faster the heartbeat got, which she goes, that makes sense since that's when you're soloing and stuff. It's got the Ibanez Zero trim on it in the, what do they call it? It's black chrome. There's a name for it. Cosmo Black, that's what it is. Hardware, which I love black chrome, so. But yeah, it's just a smooth guitar. It's got the purple heart neck back there, too. It's got a thin, it's based on the S series Ibanez, so super thin profile on there. Super lightweight, but yeah, it's just, it can do anything you throw at it. Like, if you need a guitar that can do rock, metal, all that stuff, this is one of the best ones I've played.
Wow. It's really pretty guitar.
Oh yeah, it's got the quilted maple on it, so
Yeah.
it's pretty.
Looks amazing. Okay.
You want to hear this one?
Uh-huh.
Alrighty. So here's that True Velvet. Whoops. Now, given this is dialed in a little bit high for the high gain stuff, but it does sound really good.
Nice.
So yeah, it cuts through the mix like crazy. So it's one of those that normally I have this dialed in a little bassier, but it's one of those things I'm trying to make it so it agrees with all these guitars. So
yeah, it sounds really, really good, and it's gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
the guitar.
They picked a good one for it. The quilt on this one is really nice. So.
And looks, you can play with that guitar for hours.
Oh
hours
yeah,
hours.
It's so smooth. The profile's really nice on it. So it's just one of those. It's just really comfortable to play, and yeah, it's so light. You can just have it on your shoulder, and you're not feeling it like. I've got a traditional Les Paul over there that weighs a ton. You can start feeling it dig in after a while.
Yeah. Well, Lou, do you remember when the rips getting better? You like guitarist, maybe you start to you was starting and you said, oh, I'm getting better with that riff. You know.
Well, it's one of those things that, like, obviously when you start trying to play cover songs and other people's stuff, that's when you can really tell, because the closer you get to how they sound, you're like, okay, I think I'm getting it. It's a little tougher when you're writing, just because of the fact that it's just like, okay, is it good? You know, is it good enough? Because I try to do a sort of keep it simple, stupid approach to things. You know, I'm not going to add a lot of extra crap if I don't need to, because it's like, why? It's going to sound the same to the end user. I'm not playing for guitar players. I'm playing for the general audience. And so it's one of those things that I've played with guitar players where every tiny little, oh, you have to bend it just this half part here. And I'm like, nobody can hear that. You know, it's like, you can hear it. Nobody else can hear it. So if I don't feel like it's going to stand out, I don't really care as much about it. But certain things, it's going to change the feel of it, and that's where it's important to me. So when I got to the point where if I could hear it in my head, I could play it pretty quickly, then I felt like, okay, that's natural to me. If I'm struggling on it, I'm like, why am I writing something that's hard for me to play? It's like, I get it if it's important and I have to have that sound. And that's where I've got to really work on it more. But ultimately, I mean, it's one of those things that as you play more, as you get smoother, as you start trying to do stuff here and there, you're always going to improve a little bit. You always want to push yourself a little bit. You don't want to just sit here and go, well, it's easy. I don't want to do it if it's not easy. So when you kind of push yourself a little bit and you finally get it smooth, I remember like on Stalemate, there was a walk down. It was like, we did that walk down, and it took me a while to kind of get that walk down smooth, but I knew I wanted that sound. But now I don't even think about it when I'm playing. I can play and sing and not even think about it. But I remember I had to stop singing for a second to really focus on it every time. And my lead guitar player hates it. He hates doing that line. It's one of those that, to me, you just got to push yourself just a little bit each time to get a little more uncomfortable and then do it. But if you try to do too much, you get discouraged. Like if I'm over here trying to do Yngwie, I'm just going to just throw the guitar out the window. It's like, I can't do it. So it's one of those that ultimately what's good enough just really depends on the song. And so to me, to feel like that, when did they get better? It's like, well, did they ever really get better? Because I play stuff that I wrote 20 years ago that still sounds fine, but to me, it's super easy now because it's 20 years ago. So I mean, it's subjective, I guess. I don't know if there was ever really a point that, same thing, like I said before, kind of the imposter thing. I don't know if I really felt like I got better or things got improved so much as I just found different ways to do stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think sometimes the musicians, we are more focused to learn more techniques or be faster or be more cleaner.
Yeah.
And when they use all of that for create music, they stuck,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I create music to be comfortable, to be happy.
Yeah, you want to enjoy it.
Yeah, and you will grow enough with your art,
mm-hmm.
right? Because you are the lead singer and guitarist, you need to be simple.
Yeah.
To do, to play the guitar and sing.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, you don't want it too complicated and trying to focus on your vocals.
But you are doing two different stuff and connect with people when you're on the stage. You need to connect with people, playing the guitar, singing the message, going for them, and they their feedback with you and keep the band alive.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody was looking you, and you I don't need more stress for I need to do this.
Oh yeah, there's a part in Twisted Vision, the song we do, where I'm literally just playing E chords. I'm just like easy as hell, but because the whole band stops and I'm going da 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 da, everybody's like and I'm not doing some massive solo thing, but it's just the cool breakdown in the dynamics where we cut out for a second, I do that, and then it all kicks back in again. Mm-hmm. It gives them a feeling where they don't really care if I'm playing a scale, so that's what it needed in that song. Mm-hmm. And so I've just found that you don't need to show off the whole song, and like you said, it's just you compromise your vocals if you're busy trying to focus on playing so much that now you can't focus on really delivering the vocals. Mm-hmm. And like it or not, most people are going to pay attention more to the vocals, than the guitar 90% of the time. Like you got the 10% of the guitar players that are like, what's he doing there? But it's one of those that, it's easier to sit there and go, let me write a simple rhythm pattern that I can sing to. And that's why it helps having a lead guitar player when I'm doing that. Mm-hmm. That's why the Metallica dynamic works. Hetfield's a good guitar player, but he can't be playing super complicated stuff while he's trying to sing. Mm-hmm. That's where Kurt can come in and kind of fill in the empty spots. Yeah. So it's important to have good rhythm and rhythm guitar to make the song drive.
Yeah.
And then you can put the fluff over it all you want. But that's why a lot of people get bored with certain, like you'll see, like even when I went and saw Nita Strauss the first time with the Guitar Collective, they had all instrumental guitar players there. And you could see the crowd kind of glaze over after a while because it's cool to listen to, but after a while you're like, I kind of want to hear somebody just do a song instead of just show off technique. And it's impressive, but you can only watch it for so long before you kind of like, I'm kind of bored, So it's one of those, you got to be able to mix the two. There's a reason why you don't hear a lot of instrumental guitar on the radio and stuff like that. It's just after a while, people are like, it kind of turns into background music.
Yeah, and with your skills, you are getting reality your vision about the music, right?
Yeah.
Because the people sometimes are really rude.
Oh, God.
He's not that really good guitarist or vocalist or whatever.
You're always going to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't like, you don't like.
Yeah.
But some people like.
It's subjective.
But you know why the guitarists are doing he is doing that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what is the message he's trying to send with the guitar?
It's what's right for the song. Yeah.
Yeah. And if that riff works for the song, it's the song. It's about the song. Because the song has guitar, drums, keyboards, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all arranging it properly in the band. It's because the Love Is Dead album, we recorded as a 3-piece. And a lot of people are like, man, it sounds so full. It's like, well, it's because we figured out the arrangement. It's not all of us playing all the time the same thing. It's I'll cut out and the bass will come in and do, so you got to have room for the song to breathe and have dynamics that flow. Because if you just have boom, drive, and it's just the same thing the whole song, it's halfway through you're bored with it.
Yeah.
That's why bands like Metallica and all that stuff have done so well over the years. They understand dynamics. They understand, okay, you can build and drop out and build it again and all that, versus just, let's play really hard and heavy the whole song. And so, technique will only get you so far. At a certain point, songwriting has to kick in and has to be a good song. So.
Okay, Lew, thank you so much for your opinion. And, well,
on to the next one?
Switch?
All right.
Okay, Lew.
Yes.
We have right now EVH.
It's a Music Man. Yep.
Yeah, but it's. I'm shocked.
This is one of my babies. Basically, I got 2 of these, but I didn't see the point in bringing both out because, obviously they're the same guitar. But, one of them is a Red Burst that I've got too. But this is my Purple Sparkle, and I love purple, and I love sparkle guitars. This is a Music Man Axis, which was modeled after the Music Man EVH. It's just, they just changed the name after he left and threw a fit. So, same thing, I used to have all the EVH guitars. I had a PV Wolfgang. I've still got regular Wolfgangs, too, from the EVH series. But to me, the Music Man is the best out of the 3. When he went from Music Man to PV to Fender, it's like, I still think the Music Mans are the best ones. They are amazing guitars. This was my dream guitar. I got to play one when I worked at Guitar Center initially, and you just feel like you don't even have to try on playing these guitars. They just almost play themselves. They're just that good. And I remember getting in the room one day and with all of our high gain amps on one of my breaks and just went in there and started jamming, and all of a sudden I'd turn around, there's a crowd behind me, I'm like, oh crap, and they're just like, holy crap, and I'm like, that was just me messing around, and it was just, but they're amazing guitars. This is as they call, full-fledged EVH. This isn't a Sterling, or a Music Man, Ernie Ball Music Man. The Sterling models are okay, but if you only have ever played a Sterling, you don't know what you're missing on the real ones. These are all made in the U.S. in San Luis Obispo in California. Basically, it was my dream guitar, and I thought I would never be able to afford one. And then the red one was my first one that I got. And weirdly traded some Funko Pops to make enough money to get that guitar, because I saw it used, and found out I had some pops that were worth a lot of money. So I'm like, you know what? I want the guitar way worse than I want those. So I got that one. And then this one came out. This was a Music Zoo, which is a guitar store in New York exclusive. They were the only ones that got this finish.
Wow.
And so it's the sparkle purple. It's got the baked maple neck, so it's just straight maple. The big thing on these that stand out over the Sterlings and everything are these two DiMarzio pickups are exclusive to this guitar. You cannot buy them on the open market. They are exclusive. They're the ones that EVH helped design and everything else. They are probably some of the best pickups in existence. Like, they are amazing. They don't play clean for crap, but when it comes to just distortion, metal, and everything, you can turn everything up and it's still clear. The notes just shine, even though it's super heavy. And so that was what stood out to me whenever I did get those before. The only thing I changed on this was literally the knob, because they come with a little plastic knob, and I like the little metal speed hat. They got speed knobs, so you can turn them real fast, real easy. The only difference between these and the original EVHs is he liked the switch up here, and then the neck was 1/32 of an inch narrower, which a lot of people complained about, that the high E would slip. So when he left and they could do what they want, they went ahead and made it just a hair wider and then moved the switch down here, because a lot of people were bumping the switch. But past that, it's all stock. Both of them are stock. Past that, I did the same knob thing on both of them. And like I said, they're just amazing guitars. The neck, as I talked about on the Squire, is the gunstock oil and wax, so that's different than the Sterling too. They're bare wood that they just put the wax on there, so it just glides. It just, you don't have that stickiness that the clear coat gives you on other guitars. That's where I first got a taste of that and decided I was going to do that with that one. Like, if I could, I would sit down and do that to all my guitars, because it's just, it makes them play so much smoother. But yeah, there's just nothing short of some of my favorite guitars in existence are these, and they're worth every penny. Like, if you can get your hands on one and play it, I guarantee you it'll be one of your number one guitars.
Wow, it's pretty guitar. Have a really nice story, but well, you just say the pickups you can buy nowhere.
They only come on the Music Man's. There's one model of Sterling they tried them on. If you can ever find an AX40D, the D stands for DiMarzio, which is these. Not all the AX40s had them, but for a short period of time they offered them on those and decided it ain't worth it. We're just going to put them on the main ones. So it's like, yeah, so you have to get a real Ernie Ball Music Man to get these pickups. Every once in a while you can find an idiot that has pulled them out. But the last time I saw a pair on Reverb, just the pickups by themselves went for $600. Because that's how much they're sought after. Everybody wants them, and you can't. They made a deal with DiMarzio that they only come on these guitars.
How you know about that guitar? When you contact the store on New York?
Yeah, well, it was on Reverb. They had it on Reverb. And I was kind of in the market for another guitar. I didn't know what I wanted at the time. And then I saw the purple sparkle, and I'm like... And already knew I loved my red one. So I was just sitting here going like, man, I really would... I would love to have it. It would look so good on stage. And I mean, every time I pull it on stage, everybody's cameras come out. And I was sitting there going, And they had a demo. And... Quick story on it. I mean, I kind of threw a fit and threw Music Zoo under the bus initially because they had a demo, and I bought one of the PV-NOS Wolfgangs that they came out right. They weren't a Wolfgang. They came out when Eddie died, and they had a bunch of Wolfgang hardware, and put it all together and sold it as new old stock PV specials. So I bought one of those, going, well, it'd be kind of cool because it'd be like buying an original PV Wolfgang, and they're so expensive now. Got it. Didn't like it. Didn't care for it. Pickups are too hot. Didn't like it at all. But I'm like, it's a collector's item. I'll hang on to it, wait till it goes up in value. But then this came out, and I went, that guitar's worth about the same as that guitar. And so, because they had a demo model, so I was like, I can afford the demo model. That's because brand new, these were like, I think, $2,500, something like that. And so I was like, the demo model is like $1,800. I can afford that. So I could sell that and get the other one. Because same thing, I bought the PV as a demo model, so I got it cheap. Sold it to a local guy, but I had already written Music Zoo going, I'm selling a guitar. Can I just go ahead and buy it now and send you the money a little late when I get the money back from this guy? And they're like, sure, no problem. I was like, perfect. Sold the guitar, did that. Went to pay him. He goes, oh, we already sold it. And I'm like, excuse the crap out of me? You know, it was like, I made a deal and I sold that guitar so I could buy this one. So initially he took the whole, I don't know what to tell you. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not accepting that. So I threw this huge fit on social media, screw Music Zoo, all this stuff and everything else. Next thing I know, the manager calls me. And he goes, I understand there's a problem. I'm like, yeah. And I explained the whole thing. And he goes, okay, we only got 2 left. Tell you what, would you accept us selling you a new one for the same price? And I'm like, yeah. So he goes, fine, done deal. He goes, send us the money. We'll send you one of the brand new ones. Oh. So this one's not even a demo. It was brand new. And I got it for the demo price. Mm-hmm. So they made it right. I posted about it, saying, hey, they made it right. So, unscrew music's head stuff. But, there's a lot of them. Like, even I got a Purple Sparkle Les Paul Epiphone one, and it's the same thing. It's exclusive to American Music Supply. So that's the only place you could get it. So a few places do that. Guitar Center does it, too. I've got a Bomber Black EVH Wolfgang, and it's the same thing. Guitar Center was the only one that got those. So there's a few out there that are like that, where they're exclusive to that store. They'll custom order it, and they'll order however many, and then that's all that exists. Mm-hmm. I honestly don't know how many they did in this run, but I know with Music Mans, they don't make many in each run. I'd say less than 50 of these probably are out there in this color. So
wow, that's interesting. Well, right now, listen.
All right.
Listen it.
This one's in my left stick drug tuning, so I got to remember. So yeah, it just, you can hear every note clear as day on these things, and it's still dial it up as heavy as you want. So.
It's more clear. The pickups are more clear than the Les Paul.
Yeah, the Les Paul gives you a nice beefy sound and everything, but the pickups on this thing is just whatever you play, you can hear every note, and so it's great.
Like knife.
Oh yeah. This thing cuts through the mix. You have no problem. If you're playing with any other guitar players, you'll hear this one.
Okay, Lew, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Well, can switch the guitar right now? Well, Lew, right now we are on the part of the hardest part for the podcast, but because
play Eruption.
Because I have some. I think. Well, when I'm creating the podcast, I was thinking, some interesting questions. But all my guests, what kind of question is that? What is your favorite album ever?
I only get to pick one?
No, you
can. Okay.
You can, but...
favorite album?
That album changed your life.
Okay, well, life-changing, it's going to be Van Halen 1. Because front to back, that's just insane. Like, I couldn't even picture, because I was 3 in 1978, but it's one of those that, when I heard it for the first time, to be able to think, that's one guitar playing all that. And you're just like, holy crap, it's like, how? And... so, for like a lot of guitar players, you hear Eruption, you hear all that, I'm the One and all that stuff, and just the insanity of it is just like, how is all that coming from one guitar player playing it? And I remember even, it wasn't on Van Halen 1, but Hot for Teacher, like whenever I was arguing with my high school band director, because he was a jazz player, and he's like, those rock guitars, they jazz is harder. He goes, I can play anything those rock guitar players could play. And I'm like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah. So I brought him Hot for Teacher. And he was like, that can't be just one guitar. I'm like, I can play it. It's one guitar. And so he was like, no way. And I went up to class and played the intro to it and stuff. And he was just like, well, what's all that crap and everything? I was like, that's how it's played. And he's like, that's just cheating. I'm like, still sounds good. It's once again, it's like he's wrapped up in the rules. I was like, it's not cheating. It's playing notes and it sounds good. It sounds good.
It's
And
music.
so you know, if anybody dives into it, like anybody that's like very anti Van Halen but likes guitars, especially metal and stuff, you really need to look at how much changed with him.
Hmm.
He invented the Super Strat. He was
Yeah.
the one that pulled a Gibson pickup and stuck it in a Strat and went, why can't I have something that plays like a Strat but sounds like a Les Paul? So he's like, screw it, and chiseled it out. That was the Frankenstein. And so many things changed with guitar because of Eddie and because of that album.
Hmm.
So when it comes to something that was life changing guitar wise, I'd have to be Van Halen 1. Now, for me, obviously listening to Metallica, that did a lot for me when it came to my songwriting and stuff. I pull a lot from Hetfield and Alice Cooper and all them and everything else. So I know that my first foray into Metallica is the first one I picked up was Justice for All. And I was like, wow, the same thing. The composition, the arrangement, and everything else, that really got my attention songwriting-wise. And then I went and looked at the rest of the library, and then shortly after that, the Black Album came out. So all that was that. And so I would say between the two of those, that's two of my most important ones when it comes to just establishing me as a musician and what I wanted to do. Listening-wise, I could go on for hours. It's like, I'm a big Beatles fan. I love John Lennon and stuff like that. So, like, Sgt. Pepper is a genius album. There's just so much crap going on that. So, it's one of those. But, yeah, if I had to just say one that just changed my life guitar-wise, it'd be Van Halen 1.
Nice. It's a great album. Well, but right now we are on the episode number 10.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Double digits. Look at you.
And the 30%. It's the 30% of the people are posting for the podcast said Unjustice for All.
Justice for All?
Yeah.
It's a great album.
Yeah.
I mean, if they would just put a little bit of the bass in there, it would be perfect. But like I get it. But it's one of those that it's like, it's the composition and everything on it is just, it's some of the best songwriting Metallica's ever done. It's just, there's so many layers of stuff and just the lyrics and the content. It's an amazing album. It really is.
Yeah, you are the third person said, oh, I will say it, Unjustice for All. It's an amazing album. I love that album. Well, for me, it means more for me, Ride the Lightning or Kill 'Em All.
Ride the Lightning's I mean, all of that. Pretty much. For me, I'm not a big load reload fan and definitely not saying Anchor, but like overall, their output's been good. It's like Load Reload, they kind of lost me a little bit because they were kind of doing a different sound. I still like some of the songs, but to me, it's not Metallica. It feels like a different band. Saint Anger, they just didn't know what they wanted to do. And then when they got to Death Magnetic, it felt like, oh yeah, this is what we used to write. So, but still, I'll go back and listen to Justice and all that stuff first. But yeah, Ride the Lightning's got Fade to Black and Whom the Bell Tolls. I mean, there's so many good songs on that. Master of Puppets is amazing. So yeah, all the old Metallica you could just listen to all day and just keep playing it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite bands ever.
Oh yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, but I will start to, what is the album? Who is what album is in the top? And right now it's Unjustice for All. And
I can't blame it.
Because when you said Unjustice for All, okay, again? Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
It's a good album. It's just a good album.
Well, and what album do you recommend for beginners? The
like
people,
somebody getting into guitar or something?
Yeah, something...
Well, I mean, obviously, shameless plug. You should definitely check out Coilback, The Dance of Duality, and Love Sick Drug Love Bite because, obviously, that would be the album I'd recommend. But me personally, not being an advertisement. It kind of depends. This is whenever I worked at Guitar Center, I really helped a lot of beginners. And I was like, don't try so hard to like what everybody else likes. Find what resonates with you. Because some people... I mean, perfect example is the Beatles. I like Lennon. Lennon had a little bit of edge to him. He didn't look at the world as rosy and perfect. He was always kind of, things could go haywire and go wrong. And he was kind of the darker stuff. Where Paul was everything's love and hugs and roses and stuff. And So you'll have people that resonate with Paul because that's kind of how they look at life. It's, oh, it's all great, it's happy. You know, why look at the sad bits? You got people that resonate with John. That's kind of, hey, you know, it's gonna suck at some point, so be ready for it, you know, and everything else. And what's right for one is not necessarily right for the other. I would say if you're trying to get into something to listen to guitar, especially rock guitar and stuff, definitely the stuff that is more guitar driven. So you're going to want to listen to Metallica. You're going to want to listen to Van Halen and all that stuff and see what resonates with you. But don't pigeonhole yourself to going, oh, well, that's not metal, I can't listen to it. Or, oh, it's, you know, it's too old, I can't listen to it. Because like even the Beatles, you'll learn a lot from the Beatles because they came up with pretty much all the recording techniques we have today is from them.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big fan of the history of music and what created what. And if you go to the guys that originated a lot of this stuff, you can see the origins. And because it's an origin, it's a little bit easier to understand. Because you can go, okay, I see where the Beatles did this and this, where now the guys doing the studios has $20,000 of gear to do all that stuff, and it gets a little confusing. So if you start at the beginning, it's a little bit easier. But I would say listen to everything. You know, one day I'll turn on Aerosmith, the next day I'll have Alice Cooper, the next day I'll have The Doors, and it just depends on my mood. So it's one of those things that Beatles, go listen to Sgt. Pepper. Trust me, it's not all Love Me Do and I Want to Hold Your Hand. Go listen to Sgt. Pepper. There's an amazing thing there, like we talked about. Metallica, if you like metal, go listen to Justice for All. It's more than just your djenty guitar. There's some guitar work going on there. If you like instrumental technique, you're into being a badass, go listen to Steve Vai, Passion and Warfare. That is an incredible album. He does so much on that. And for modern, go listen to Anita Strauss. She does so many different styles. Her first 2 solo albums are incredible. First one's all instrumental. Second one, she's got all these different singers on there from, you know, David Draymond that did the one single with her, you know, people from Arch Enemy, all that stuff that's on there doing guest vocals. So if you want to hear really good guitar with some vocals, her albums are amazing too to listen to, and they're not boring. They're exciting to listen to. She has good composition and everything. So any of those, if you want to get started, will inspire you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lew, for that. Well, I really interested for the fancy
the grand
guitar.
finale guitar. Okay, so this one's got a story. You wanted ones with stories, so this one probably has the most interesting story. I got to be careful what I say because I can't throw somebody under the bus because of their job. But so I lucked into this guitar. It started life as just this body and just this neck. Didn't have frets on it, didn't have hardware on it, didn't have anything. This is a Warmoth-made guitar, Warmoth Guitar Company that does all the custom stuff. Mm-hmm. So this was a customer order that they screwed up. And so if you look right here, if you see that there's a plate there, it's because they screwed up the routing right there and went and messed it up. So it was going to be a factory reject. Mm-hmm. This is modeled after that Music Man. They called it the VW, the Van Warmoth, and got sued by Henry Ball Music Man almost immediately. So Music Man told him stop making that body style. So the problem was, here you got a factory second that is defective and they can no longer sell it. Mm-hmm. So a guy that worked at Warmoth hooked me up with this. I'm not going to say how, that's why I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but he's like, hey, I saw that you're into Music Man Access and stuff like that. So he goes, I've got this body and neck. If you want it, I can, we can try to make a deal or whatever. So I was like, sure, why not? I let it sit there for a while and trying to decide what I wanted to do with it, and obviously how to fix that routing issue, because I tried to talk to a few people and they're like, oh, to paint match it and put a plug there, it'd be too expensive. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, man. So I started looking at it and I went, okay, I'm going to put something together, but I'm just going to cover it with something so that you can't tell what it is. So basically got all the hardware and stuff, which I'll walk you through in a second, but I got a trophy place that makes little nameplates for the trophies. Mm-hmm. And I gave them the exact measurements and what I wanted and said, just make me this plate. I don't need anything engraved, just make the plate. And they made it for me, and so I took the pickup rings and stuck it there, and it covers up that gash. And a lot of people are just like, why don't you put your name on or something? Like, I'm trying not to draw attention to it. It's like, it's supposed to be there, but you're not supposed to really pay attention. But I named this one Cleopatra. I named the model a Philopater, because that's actually Cleopatra's last name. Mm-hmm. I actually have her cartouche engraved on there, on that. But basically, I picked out everything hardware-wise and all that stuff. So it's got a Floyd Rose here. These are Steve Vai Valorum pickups. All the Valorums are Steve Vai Gravity Storm pickups with gold covers. He put a special edition out, did that. But that's kind of what made me do the Egyptian theme, because he's got those little Vi logo on there. It looks like a pyramid, and I was like, you know what? I'll do an Egyptian theme with it. I don't normally like gold hardware, but it's like it kind of works with this look. The frets are gold Evo frets, so they're in between nickel and stainless steel. They're not quite as hard as stainless, but they're not as soft as nickel. And obviously I dug them because they're gold, so they match everything. Put Grover tuners on it. On the back, Nita actually signed that for me too, so that's Nita Strauss's autograph back there too. I told her I was making it or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, those Wormouths are cool." I was like, "Yeah." It's like I think it'd be nice to have a Nita approved guitar, so she signed that for me there. But yeah, past that, it's one of my Lovesick Drug guitars. I just got it freshly set up for Kevin Easton to kind of. I wanted a lighter touch on it, so it matched that guitar a little bit better playability wise. So he just set it up for me, and it plays amazing. I believe the neck is Paduke, I think, and then the fretboard is rosewood, and I believe the body's mahogany, if I remember right, and then quilted maple on the top. But yeah, so this is the only one in existence. It's custom from the ground up. This is the only one that exists of it.
Guitars right now.
So yeah, I love it. It plays great. The pickups sound good, but they sound different to the Music Man, which is what I liked. I didn't want another of the same sounding guitar.
Another color.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, once again, I use guitars like paintbrushes, so it's like I want a different brush. I don't need 3 of the same brush. So it's one of those. I've got my 2 Music Mans, and they sound slightly different too, because one's a 2016 and that one's like, I think, a 2024 or 2022, something like that. So they do have different sounds to them. But yeah, and same thing. As soon as this comes out, a lot of people, the cameras come out because they're like, "What is that?" So
yeah.
But no, it's a good sounding guitar. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I got Lovesick drum tuning again.
Really nice. Thank you so much.
It's got a good clear sound to it too. And when I have it dialed in my other amp, it sounds really ballsy.
Well, I want to ask you, because I know you have more and more guitars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask you how you decide to, because you start with Squire, the DNC, more soft guitars, more cheap guitars, but they are not common, right? How you know? Oh, the next guitar I'm looking for is that.
I kind of just run into them, to be honest. It's one of those things that, obviously, when I worked at Guitar Center, I was exposed to a lot of them. So I got to play stuff like Parker Flies and, the different Strats. We had the different Ibanez. We had the Steve Vai Ibanez universe that I got to play and stuff like that. And certain ones you kind of think that you're like, oh, I love to play it. And you get your hands on it, you're like, it's not as good. Not for me, at least. It's not as good. And so, like, I know guys that love Charvel. I've never played a Charvel and really been inspired with a Charvel. They sound good. They're good guitar players. But I never picked up one and go, man, I really want this Charvel. And sometimes I'm surprised. I've picked up some cheaper guitars and went, that actually sounds pretty decent. And sometimes I'll buy them and keep them for a little while. And, I've told people before, I said, certain guitars I feel like have so many songs in them and then that's it. Like I had a Dean Deceiver that looked really cool, had all these death graphics on it and everything else. And ironically wrote a ballad called Waited Too Long on it. And then I never really felt like I could do anything else on it. So sold it. And so I run into them. Sometimes I'll see somebody with a guitar and I'm like, ooh, what is that? And just kind of check it out and see. And then certain ones, but I'm not just stuck on one brand or price range or anything like that. I just feel like it's like whatever works for whatever I'm doing, just like songwriting. It's just whatever's going to work for that purpose. I'm not going, well, if it's not a $2,000 guitar, it's not worth it. Because like I said, I put that Squire in the studio and it's played stuff. So there's a place for all of it, just like anything else. Now, there's some crap guitars. You're working too hard to make them sound good. I get that. One of my big ones is I love BC Rich. I love BC Rich Mockingbirds. I own several Mockingbirds. And but their factory pickups suck. And so every BC Rich Mockingbird I've ever gotten, I've changed the pickups on. Because just the factory, they're muddy, they're not clear. The more gain you put, the crappier they sound. And so I've never been a fan of their factory pickups. But I love the rest of the guitar. So it's like, I'll get them, swap out the pickups, and go, okay, cool. And some of them, it's just one of those things that you pick them up. I've picked up $5,000 guitars and not been impressed at all. Just going, I don't get it. So, to be honest, like, I'm not a big PRS guy. And so it's one of those things, I don't play a lot of PRS stuff. It's like, I've owned one. I liked it. It's good. But I'd pick up a Music Man before I pick up a PRS.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for that information. Oh, shit. Because you have different kind of profiles. And different kind of scales.
Oh, yeah.
How you decide to play with what?
Like which one I pick for what? It just really kind of depends. I mean, it's like I'm used to switching a lot of profiles because I've gone from a Strat style to a Les Paul, and I know the scale length's way different and stuff like that. So I've gotten used to it over the years. I think it's kind of like I was watching Joe Perry's Gear Rundown one time, and his guitar tech was going, and they said, sometimes he'll use different guitars for the same song. It's whatever inspires him that night. And I think it's kind of the same way. It's one of those that if I feel like it's like, this one's going to be better for this and stuff. Now, certain ones on a technical level, like I have a baritone guitar. So if I'm in the studio and I really want something low and chunky, I'm going to go grab the baritone guitar. But certain ones, like, whether I use this or the Music Man for a certain song, it just kind of depends. It's like this pickup is a little darker. So it's like, do I really want it to sound more ballsy, or am I going to solo more on this one or whatever? So it kind of depends on it. Like I said, it's like artist brushes for me. An artist, it's like what makes you use a shader versus this. Part of it is what you're creating, and part of it's just like, I just feel like I can do it with this one. So there's really no rhyme or reason other than just, okay, it feels easy to play, or if I wrote it on that guitar, because then it feels more natural to play it on that guitar.
Okay, thank you. Well, I hope in the future we can do a video blog.
Okay.
About all your collection, if you want.
We could.
And just talking a little bit, the guitar you have, and I really love to do that.
Yeah, that would be fun. It would be fun to walk through it all. So
Thank
obviously,
you.
I don't mind talking about them. I love them all. So
Okay. Well, Lew, if the people want to contact you or your bands, Coilback and
Love Sick Drug.
Love Sick Drug, where they can find you.
The best places to go would be Instagram or Facebook. We do own the domain, so if you go to coilback.com or lovesickdrug.com, it'll take you to our Facebook pages. We also have link trees on both of our Instagrams that are all the places you can find us, because we're on Bandcamp, both bands. You can stream any of our music on Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. Obviously, we prefer Bandcamp because we get more money from it, but it's like, I get it. If that's what you got, I'd rather you be listening to it. So it's one of those things that you can do any of that. We have tons of merch on Bandcamp. That's where our merch store is. So if you go to Bandcamp, you can find merch for both of those. But yeah, I mean, pretty much if you search Love Sick Drug or Coilback, you're going to find us. So we're pretty obvious.
I will put the links on the video. And well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the space.
Oh no, and I appreciate you coming out, man.
And your time, your story, it's really interesting. And you are so passionate about guitars. You know what expects the guitars have, and I really appreciate your story. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for doing this, man. It's great that you're being able to show people some of the behind the scenes stuff of all those guitar players and the money we blow on this crap.
Yeah, yeah. And I hope see you soon. See your band. Do you have some gigs?
This is the time of year we usually kind of take off and start working on writing more, just because Texas, so the weather's unpredictable and everything. And I try to let all the guys, enjoy their family time with the holidays and stuff. So unless we have a show that's super important, like, oh, so-and-so's coming into town, we're going to open for them, I usually go take off till about February, and then we'll come back and do it. I know that if you're in Texas, Bastrop, the Cult Classic Convention that happens in March, Coilback should be playing that next year. We haven't announced it yet because they're still lining up everything, but that's a most likely. Mm-hmm. So if you're into horror and stuff, you can go down there, watch us play. We'll probably be playing with some of our friends down there, so that'll be fun. But past that, it's one of those we're kind of going to lock the doors and get into writing while the weather sucks. So.
Okay, Lew. Thank you so much again. And, well, thank you so much, guys, to being here. Please subscribe, leave the comment. I am Julio Diaz, Lew Morris. This is Guitar Memories. Keep playing. See ya.